Hi, my name is Lucille Lorge, and I'm Castro Valley's historian. We're going to talk a little today about the Castro Village. We can't really talk about the Castro Village without mentioning Arnold Anderson. Mr. Anderson lived here all of his life, went to the local schools, married a local girl. He was in the Second World War, went back in during the Korean War, and was married to a lady from the Phillips family. Now, the Phillips family were also very popular here in Castro Valley. Mr. Phillips was a Baptist minister, and they had a large home up on Proctor Avenue where he would practice his sermons. He was the first one to give sermons on the radio. Yeah, I believe it was called the First Hour of Prayer. And he would walk back and forth on his property under the big eucalyptus trees, practicing his sermons. And the neighbors said they could hear him for miles around. His son became an attorney here in Castro Valley, George Phillips, and George's children still live here in the valley. But getting back to the village, Mr. Anderson, after the war and his marriage, had a real estate office across the street from the village where Fong's restaurant was. He sat there for many years looking across the street at a very large tomato field and thinking, with all the new families moving into Castro Valley at that time, we need to have some kind of a store or many stores for them to shop at. So he and a friend purchased that property. They got a $40,000 loan from Bank of America and bought the property the village is now on. He then contacted a developer named Randy Nahas, and they did find a builder also and started work on the Castro Village. At that time, there were 48 stores in the village. The anchor store was Coonrad's, which was kind of a variety store, maybe an early 5-dime store. Kurt's camera store was there, and the only remaining store that was one of the early stores was Lord's Ice Cream Parlor. In the front of the village facing the boulevard, where we now have Starbucks and a bagel factory, there was a French fry and chicken store. And next to that was a large drugstore. Before the village arrived, of course, there was no big shopping area in Castro Valley. Castro Valley was very spread out along the boulevard with many small, independently owned stores. So Hayward was the big shopping area at that time, mainly B Street, until they opened up what they called the Strip, which now looks like it's going to be downtown Hayward. The Strip was opened in about 1950. Now we are hoping that the village will be able to attract more Castro Valley people. And Ross, I know, is doing quite well. And I believe GT Max is coming in, which will also be a big asset to that area. The bowling alley was built quite a long time after the main village was built. As I said before, there were only 24 stores in the village. Mr. Anderson purchased this large tomato field in 1948, and it probably took them a couple of years to find the developer and a contractor to build on the property. The developer was Randy Nahas, and it is so funny that when they redid the property a year ago, it was Robert Nahas, Randy's son, who they brought back as a developer to redo the old buildings, which seemed pretty nice to me.